If you want to make extra money as a sales rep in the industry, or if you're even a business owner that's trying to push revenue in the last couple of days of the month, here's what you should do. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you by step what I did last month on the last day of April to push us past 60K for the month. But what I also do every single time I'm getting no-showed or canceled on, just to earn extra commissions as a sales rep. And here's what you should do, so you're never sitting around not doing anything, twiddling your thumbs, watching YouTube, because I know you are, and instead you can be making more money. So here's what you do. Okay, so the first step is to go into your CRM. We use Go High Level, but usually all CRMs you're able to do this, and you're gonna wanna go and find every single person that you had a sales call with, but that you either had to disqualify them or you lost the sales call, you weren't able to close them. And so then you're going to want to send a mass text message out to them. So most CRMs let you do this. Go High Level lets you do this. You filter them to assign to you, and then whatever stage of the pipeline they're in, and then you can just bulk text them. I'm not going to show you how to do that because you can look that up on your own. But I'm going to go show you the conversation that I had in the text message that I sent out to get this guy on a call and close. So this is a guy I had a call on the calendar with a little while ago. He said he was interested. He just didn't want to pay anything up front, so no money out of pocket. We talked a little bit. He said doesn't want to pay anything up front no matter what. I said no worries, good luck with your business. We ended on good terms, and then I sent out this text blast yesterday or a couple days ago, and I said, hey Brian, it's Enoch, just wanted to let you know we're doing a mid-spring special just for a couple of agents, only offering it to 5. There are 2 spots left, but I figured I'd let you know since I think you'll crush it with this. Let me know if you're interested. I said, what's the startup cost? I don't want to pay anything. Normally, we've got 2 options, one which is $9,000, one which is $5,000, so I'm always going to tell him the original price to let him know how special the new offer really is. For the special, we're wiping the startup costs. So he's getting $5,000 off or $9,000 off. And then we only pay per client that we connect you with. So $250 per live transfer, and then just a 15% referral fee. I could do something like that. So he's already bought in. He already thinks that's a good offer. And then he says, I think it's a little high. How will he asked me some questions. We go back and forth answering some questions. And then I just said, why don't we just set up a Zoom call and we can walk you through all the systems and everything. He said, okay. And so we schedule it for the next day. And then I actually had a call that canceled later on that day. So I said, I can even hop on now if you want. And then he said, give me 5 minutes, logging on, ready to go, bada boom, bada bang. We hop on the call, and I'll play that whole sales call. I did a shorter discovery because he already knows price. He's already done a ton of research on this. Like, this guy was like hot, ready to go. So I did a shorter discovery, and then during pitch, a little bit of concern came up about the ad spend, and he said he wasn't going to be interested in that because it was just too much. And then, but I handled it, and then we get the job done. Hello.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good.
How's your Tuesday going so far? Tuesday, what is it, April 29th?
Yeah, it's going. I a little busy this morning, and then took the kids to the pool, and then had a showing and pushing till Thursday, so free up my night.
Nice, cool. It's always good to get like a little bit of extra free time when you don't expect it, right? So
Yeah, man, for sure.
Cool. Where are you? You're in Texas, right?
Yep.
What part? What part are you from?
Austin.
Gotcha.
Just
Okay.
a little north of Austin, man, in the suburbs. Austin's gotten a little crazy for me, so
Really?
up here. Yeah, man, it's a little California down there, man.
Really? Okay. I'm planning on moving to Austin in August.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? You mean it's getting like a California like liberal type thing?
Liberal, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't noticed it too much. I haven't spent like a ton of time in Austin, so maybe I'm just not seeing it. But
It's just the homeless, man. Like, there's always been the homeless, right?
Oh, right.
But it's gotten really, really bad, like tent cities and, needles all
Wow.
over the place, feces all over the place. I mean, just crazy
Yeah.
stuff. They defunded a lot of police to help out with a lot of the stuff going on, man. And, there's shootings in pretty much every night on 6th Street, and just, it's
Really?
just a little crazy. Yeah, man. So if you come here, I don't know how old you are, but a little bit older crowd and, not so crazy crowd is going to be in a place called The Domain. It's about 6 miles north of 6th Street. It's like a little city. It's got like your living quarters and your shopping, bars, all that good stuff. And so that's really
Yeah.
a better place to be. Downtown has gotten a little rough.
Wow. When you say like a shooting every night on 6th Street, is that like over exaggerating a little bit, or is that
On the
actually...
weekends, man. So I think there was like a couple last weekend, and there's just all kinds of crazy stuff that happens down there.
That's nuts. I've been to 6th Street, and I know it's definitely like a bunch of degeneracy, like a bunch of like whack stuff going on, but
Yeah,
that's crazy, actually.
Where are you at
I
now?
heard that. Currently, I'm actually in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
But for a while, I was in Dallas, Texas.
What part of
But
Dallas?
I was in Preston Hollow.
Okay, I'm Flower Mound is where I grew up at, which is just north of DFW Airport.
Okay. Yeah, I was in Irving for a little bit, then I went to Dallas. I was probably in Texas for like 6 or 7, maybe 8 months, I want to
Okay.
say. Just for like a little bit. I'm always like shifting around and moving around.
Gotcha.
But I think I'm gonna go to Austin in August. I've got plans
Austin's
to.
great, man. I like that. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's just when you get here for a while, you kind of, and dude, I'll be 40 in a couple days, and so you know,
Okay.
you grow out of a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay. Gotcha. Well, yeah. I'm not really big in the whole party thing
There
either.
you go.
So like, I'm probably not gonna spend my nights at 6, especially if there's shooting going on. I don't want to be any part of
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if you like the outdoors and going to lakes and hiking stuff like that, it's a place to be. Just I have a motto. I try to stay anything north of 183, and you go south of 183, that's when it starts getting a little rough.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Um, cool. Well, yeah, this call's pretty basic. I guess we can jump into it. Like, I'm gonna jump in obviously to help you out. I do want to take some time to dive into like your business, your situation, really quick, just so I can get like a quick understanding where you're at right now. But like I said, I know my message to you, like we're doing a bit of a special, right, for like the mid spring, end of April type of deal. And I mean, I guess we can call it the special for your birthday coming up too. But yeah, I guess like what's your goal for real estate? Like how many deals do you want to be doing?
Man, so I did about 11 million last year. Had a good year. But it's been so much limbo, man. I got in with a bunch of Apple employees, and they refer a lot of business to me, right? And now the tech industry is not doing so hot. I didn't prepare for, I guess, the drop off, right? So I hadn't marketed
Okay.
really in about a year. I hadn't needed to, and so I'm just now ramping that back up. Yeah, I've switched brokers. The broker that I was currently, well, the broker that I was with previously, they started doing more like your capital raising and multifamily, and they're friends with Grant Cardone, man. They started doing the whole Grant Cardone stuff,
Okay.
and it's just something that I wasn't really wanting to jump down, and so I switched back over to LPT Realty,
Okay.
and have Lofty, which used to be Chime, and it's a great CRM, man. It's got lots of tools. So I started doing the Google and the Facebook leads through them, have them manage it
Okay.
for me, and then signed up with the AI, and we're still waiting for those campaigns to get going, but that's kind of the goal. I tried going back to Zillow, about 2 months ago. I paid them $4,000 and gotten 3 leads. One of them was a guy in Israel just trying to get me to run numbers for some flip properties that he wanted. So that was a bunk one. And then
Yeah.
one of them had me show up to a place that was for sale, wanted me to ask the owner if they would rent it to him. I'm like, dude, come on, bro.
Yeah.
And so Zillow is just, they're not what they used to be, and they're super
Okay.
expensive.
And you paid him $4,000?
1,900 a month for 2 months.
Man, okay. Like no results though, just like the 4 leads and.
Yeah, and so the other day I got a live transfer that was calling. When I picked it up, it shows you basically the property they're calling about, and it has the name. And the name was whatever the name was, realtor. So it was a realtor who obviously was inexperienced calling Zillow to try to get information off a property. It's like, well, I'm not going to answer that one and waste $600-700 a lead. So I hung up on that, and it just seems to be yeah, it's just not what it used to be, man. I used Zillow a couple years ago, and I was closing 50% of those deals, and it was great.
I've heard that about Zillow. Like it was really good for a while, then it got a little oversaturated. They started sending like the leads to a bunch of different agents all at once, not doing as much like pre-qualifications, which I guess happens when you kind of like grow to that scale. Not talking like not to talk shit on Zillow or anything, but like
Yeah, you can, man. I talk shit on them all the time. You know what it is you got these big teams that are spending big money with them, and then they take care of those first, and they kind of give the little guys the leftovers. And so,
yeah, I've heard that too. Okay, so you did 11 million last year. How many have you got so far for this year? Like, what are your numbers like?
I got 6 listings right now. 2 of them are under contract. Just closed on one last Friday, and then I've closed on 2 others besides that. So
So you closed about 3 so far this year.
yeah, I was focusing on sellers, man, and then I decided to just stop doing that. I mean, what's happening is all the Californians came out here. They raised the prices of the homes tremendously back when interest rates were super low, and now your everyday starter home, nobody can afford it. And so, or not afford, excuse me. Well, that too, but so for instance, I have one right now. I bought the house at 460 back in 2021. It was 417 on it. The house is worth like 375. And so it's just going to sit there, man. Unfortunately, I've invested the money in the marketing and the photos and everything else. And we had a subject to under contract that actually backed out today. And so, yeah, just been a little bit of a roller coaster with the sellers, man. So I'd like to focus on buyers. I really want to focus on new construction. I used to work for a builder for about 4 years. What's happening with them is that they bought all this land too high a price. They paid too much for the land, and now their notes are coming up, and they still have a ton of inventory that they can't get rid of. So, as you know, you probably know, builders have their own loan officer and lending company. They own typically 50% of that or 49% of that, whatever it may be. And so now they're buying down the interest rates. We're seeing 2.99 rates, 4.5 rates, 30K flex cash. And so that's really what I want to focus on, because that's really the only affordable solution right now for home buyers.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and I can see that. We've done a bit of marketing towards like new construction homes, like to get those buyers in. A lot of people like the new construction, but it's also just a better deal for them. So
Yep.
I think that makes sense. So you're at 3 so far for this year, and like, what is the goal? Like, do you have a number you're trying to hit this year, or?
I'd like to get, over 25 is kind of, I've hit over 25 for the last 5 years. And so that's kind of been my minimum goal. And so, yeah, I'd like to get there.
Okay, sure. Those the 3 deals that you did close, and like I know you got some listings and some under contract, right?
hmm
Like where your deals currently coming from? Is it all like word of mouth, organic, or like where's most of your business? And Arizona's not
So
giving you much, so.
one of them came from my loan officer. And then, me coming from the new build industry, I have buddies that still work there. And so they get unrepresented buyers that come in. And,
Okay.
if they're unrepresented, he's like, I got a guy, I'll put you on the contract and he'll give you 1% back at closing. And so that's where two of my other ones came from.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, okay. So it's a lot of like, it's kind of like people you know, right?
Yeah,
Like, so
pretty much.
your lender, I kind of look that in the spirit too, though, 'cause it's kind of like referring over to you, right?
Yeah.
Um, so do you feel like with like the organic business you're doing right now, like, I mean, do you feel like that's enough to get you 25 this year as quickly as possible? Or do you feel like this year might need some
Yeah,
changes?
definitely not, which is why I'm starting to market off of Lofty. And because, again, the tech industry, all those guys just aren't buying right now. And those were my golden goose, the last
Yeah.
3 years. The
Right.
Samsung employees, the Apple employees, Tesla employees, they were all, you do,
Yeah.
they're all cultural buyers, right? So they're all from India, and you do good with them, they're going to refer you everybody. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, man. So that's been most of my business for the last couple of years. My first 2 years being an agent, I did a lot of marketing, used a lot of different lead sources,
Yeah.
tried several different things, and they all have their own, their own pluses and minuses, I guess. But I guess I was doing enough business where I wasn't having to pay for any marketing, so I was riding it out, man. So I'm paying for it a little bit right now, but we're ramping it back up.
Yeah. For sure. Okay. Um, and you're just doing that with Lofty right now?
Yeah, so I tried doing Google pay-per-clicks and had like an account advisor over there walk me through something and spent like $500 with him. And he's like, I didn't get a single lead. And then he's like, well, we're going to do this and it's in the learning phase and we're going to touch base, in 2 weeks. I'm like, well, how many leads are you guaranteeing me in these 2 weeks? 1 or 2. I'm like, yeah, dude, we're not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
so, Lofty basically they guarantee. So for Facebook, it's like 36 to 55 leads for I think it's $400 a month is what I'm paying them, and then I'm doing 800 for Google, and their guarantee I think it's like 27 to 39 or something like that. And so
Yeah.
I can work with that, man. I'm not going to sit there and waste a bunch of money with Google, and I have an assumption of what's going on with them is that they're offering you $1,500 credit, but you got to spend X amount of money with them first. So they're basically making you lose all your money before they give you that credit. And so that's what he's doing. He's beating me around the bush.
Yeah. I got you. Okay. So that's Google and Facebook advertising through Lofty though.
So I was doing it just through Google, but now I basically pulled the plug on that and have a Lofty manager just manage it for me. That way, I don't have to go through the learning curves and teach myself and not waste a bunch of money.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely better to have someone, like if you're not an expert in that area, I think it's better to delegate out, have someone who is an expert in that area do it. Do
Yep.
you know, is it just Google or are they still into Facebook for you?
They're doing both of them for me. So I think I'm doing 800 for Google and then 400 a month for ad spend on Facebook. To my knowledge, from my experience, most Facebook leads are tire kickers. You put 100 leads, you might close 1 or 2 of them. Just
Yeah,
they're window shopping,
that's
right?
true.
Google's going to be your stronger, your stronger platform, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends, right? Like, here's the thing, and this is with any online leads. Typically, in the NAR Harvard, they've done a ton of research on this. Typically, 5% of online leads actually end up transacting, right? So buying or selling. So that being said, obviously, like with Facebook, right? Like you can generate 100 leads a month. Now, only 5% of them, and that's not 5% that are interested. That's 5% that are actually gonna buy or sell.
Yeah.
So 5% of them, I mean, you have to get to those 5%. Now, calling through those hundreds of leads, and they might not pick up the first time you call them, right? Like you got to call those guys sometimes 10, 20, 30 times just to get in contact with them, then have that conversation. And then from there, like you got to pre-qualify them. So it can take it's a full-time job in itself to follow up with that many leads overall. So like you can be stuck in the office, cold calling, like you got to be able to dedicate 3 to 4 hours every single day in order to actually see something come out of it.
Yep,
Now,
for sure.
I'm not saying that there isn't anything that can come out of it. It just takes a lot of work to get something out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing with Google. I think Google, there might be like a little bit more quality, but it's still the same metric overall, right? Like typically, but a lot of times I'll have like a higher pickup rate. You still got to do that follow up though, ultimately.
Yep.
So do they have someone that's like pre-qualifying them and following up with them also, or are they just straight sending you the leads?
Just sending me the leads to my, to my CRM. And, if I don't get to it in time, then the AI will reach out to them. But, I prefer to give them a call, text, email. Typically I reach out about 7 to 10 times. A lot of the problem is a lot of the leads, are fake numbers. And so like I go and I find the email address or the name and I do a true people search and I get the real numbers and I'm, swap it out. So that's another tedious task,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that takes more time, obviously.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to walk you through like our systems, our strategies, what we're doing on our end, because I feel like it'd work for you, honestly, with where you're at right now.
Sorry, my daughter just walked upstairs.
You're fine. Are you good right now? Do you need to like talk?
Yeah, I'm good, man. She's usually really loud, but she was being quiet.
Okay, cool. You see this?
Yep.
Cool. So we're a place, been in business for almost 3 years now. Now there's three main parts to what we're actually doing on our end. The first part is the marketing. So we do Facebook and Instagram ads for the marketing. We've got a marketing specialist who manage all of that. But when we've got paid ads going on, we're able to make sure it's consistent, right? So we're usually, I mean, like I said before, we need to generate like a big volume of them. So 1 to 200 so that we constantly have people coming in the door. And it's consistent because we know based off like how much we put into it every single month, we know how much we're going to get out of it. But we've got a marketing specialist to manage all of it, run all the ads for you, make sure that they're performing well, making sure that we're constantly getting the same amount of leads per month. Now they'll click on the ad, they'll fill out a form, and then they'll come into our system. Now, obviously, like what I was saying before though, like 1 to 200 leads every single month, like that'd be a full-time job for you to have to call through them and pre-qualify them yourself. So we've got an ISA team to call through the 95% of bullshit pretty much, right? Because typically only 5% are going to actually end up buying and selling. So the ISAs, they're calling out of, you've got a CRM, right?
Yep.
So we build out a CRM as well for the ISAs to call out of, but we build it out inside your business so that you've got full ownership over everything. Now you don't have to use our CRM. You can if you want to. We build it out so that you can use it. It's mostly there for the ISAs to use though. So that way they're calling out of your own CRM as opposed to like us doing all the marketing for us. And then, they're calling out of our CRM because this way you can see all the conversations that's going on. You can see all the recordings. They're all recorded in there. And you've got access to all that. You actually own these systems as opposed to like us just marketing for ourselves and then passing you off leads here and there. Right?
Yep.
Speed.
So you'll build that yourself?
Yeah, the CRM. Yeah, we'll build it out for you. And then all the marketing as well. We're running all the ads from your account. So it's still your name. It's all your branding that's being pushed out there. So we're not like passing these off to any other agent or anything like that.
Okay.
Right? Speed is obviously super important when it comes to online leads as well. The difference between calling a lead within 5 minutes of it coming in and 30 minutes of it coming in, your likelihood of getting connected with them, you can drop by like 90%. So obviously that being said, like you're not always going to have time to drop everything you're doing and call a lead the second it comes in, especially when we're doing 1 to 200 every single month, because that's a lot to keep up with ultimately. And you're a realtor, you're busy, you've got a family, but how being a realtor works, like you're always doing something. So we've got the ISA scheduled from 8 to 8 so that the second lead comes in, they're able to call that lead, have that conversation, right? And then after we have that conversation, they'll give you a phone call and we'll live transfer it over to you. So give you a call, say, hey, Brian, I've got a lead on the line. They want this. This is their situation. Can you help them out? And you'll say, yeah. And then we'll connect the 2 phone calls and then we'll connect them over to you live. So we'll have a 3-way conversation where we're literally like introducing you to the lead. We don't use an app for this. We just give you straight up a phone call so you can save our number and so you know when you've got a call coming in. With Zillow though, like if you weren't able to take a lead, what would happen then?
Just get the next one in line.
Right, you go on to the next agent, right?
Yeah, it would go to the next agent, and then the next one that wants to see a home, it would come over to me. Yeah, I just one yesterday.
Yeah. So if you're ever not able to answer a phone call, because we're running all these marketing inside your own ad account and we're building out the CRM inside your business, like you've got full ownership over everything. So if you're ever not able to answer one of those live transfers, what we'll do is we'll go back to the lead, just say, hey, Brian was in a meeting. When's a good time for him to call you back, pretty much. And we'll have access to like your availability so we can actually just book the appointment on your calendar rather than like passing it off to the next person or anything like that. Because just because you don't answer the phone doesn't mean that they're not like a qualified actual client, right? So we don't want anyone slipping through the cracks or anything like that. Obviously it's better if you do pick up the phone. But if you don't, we'll just book the appointment on your calendar, right?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, so you just basically schedule a time with them on my calendar and then I'll call them at that time, correct?
Yeah, if you don't answer. If you do answer, then you get to book them yourself and set up that appointment. Usually in person, but yeah. Makes sense?
So you're able to schedule like a Zoom meeting. So like say I didn't answer and like you can send a Zoom link to them and I guess a calendar invite, or is that not something you guys can do?
We'll just do a phone call appointment, because the Zoom can be a little bit complicated. If you're doing it, like if you've got your own Zoom links and everything, then you can be able to do that on that call, and that's what we always recommend. Or if you can recommend meeting in person, but we'll just go back, schedule an appointment on your calendar. Okay. Now obviously the live transfer is great. The qualification process is super important though, like before we connect them with you. So let me share this and walk you through what that looks like. So can you see this flow chart? Yeah. So for the ISAs, initially we're setting up their scripts, their training regimen, setting up all their KPI trackers. So we're tracking their speed to lead, their outbound dials, their pickups, their quality conversation, their appointment booking rate. And then from there, we're hopping on calls with them every day, training with them. So if their pickup to quality conversation rate is low, then they need to practice their tonality, switch up the script openers that we're using. If the quality conversation and booking rate's low, build strong rapport, switch up the value we're providing on the call. If speed to lead is low, supervise their hours, outbound dials are low, increase the hours, maybe hire another ISA. If pickup rate's low, we're dropping voicemails, double dialing them, switching up the time of day we're calling them. And if everything's pick rate's high, everything's smooth, we're operating for like most responsiveness, then it's super simple. It's just rinse and repeat. So keep the system. If it's not broken, doesn't need fixing, right? Does that make sense in terms of like tracking the numbers and training them every single day?
Yeah, man, perfect sense. So I do have a question. So you mentioned earlier that you'd be using my Facebook account, so I would give you permission, I guess, to run the ads for my Facebook, Instagram, or you use your guys's?
Yeah, so we run them from your account. That way it's all your name, it's all your branding that's going out there. What we do is
so I would pay for the ad spend plus $250 a call?
Yeah, you cover the ad spend, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because that doesn't touch our pockets. That goes to pushing the ads out there, but that way
Okay.
it's all in-house, all your systems, everything. Good question though. Now, in terms of the actual conversation that's going to be had with the leads from the ISAs, we're making sure that they're not working with an agent already, getting their budget, their time frame, their motivation, their financial status. Are they pre-approved? Are they paying cash? Do they need lending? If they do need lending, we're making sure that they've actually got a steady income coming in. They've got a good credit score. They're going to get pre-approved. Making sure that their expectations as far as like a monthly mortgage payment, that lines up with what they're actually looking for and their search criteria, right? So do they want like a golden driveway? Do they want a water slide coming off the roof? Whatever the case is. Obviously, these key pieces of information, they're important to know as a realtor. But the main reason we're getting all 6 of these key pieces of information, and these are like built into the ISA job description, they need to get this info before they connect them with you. But if we're able to have a conversation with someone about all 6 of these touch points and they're able to answer all 6 of these questions, that shows us that they've actually thought about this before. They actually know their situation. They know what they can get. They know they're pre-qualified. This is actually something that they're serious about and can and will do, right?
So right here is actually the first time he's finding out about the ad spend, and he tells me that he's not going to be interested in doing any ad spend on top of, you know, the $250 per client that we send him. The thing is, I already did a valuable discovery with him, so I know his situation. I know how much he's spending on other companies and other marketing. And so basically it's a no-brainer because he's spending more with other companies and other marketing than he would be investing with us. And we're doing more on top of just marketing because we've got ISAs that call through them, pre-qualify them, connect them live on a phone call. And so rather than doing like a bunch of fancy pants objection handling, all I really have to do is just show him that it's a no-brainer and, you know, voice that to him and make him realize that it's such a no-brainer. And because it is such a no-brainer, it's really easy to do that, and I don't have to spend hours objection handling, and he decides that he already wants to buy before I even drop the price.
That's how we're disqualifying and trying to filter down to get towards that 5% that are actually going to buy or sell, right?
Yep.
Makes sense?
So I guess what got me going now is that my ad spend, I'd probably looking at $500 a month, or at minimum, probably closer to 1,000, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. You can do however much you want. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing any less than like $10 a day.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm just trying to put the pieces together, man. So, you know, I said earlier that I think 250 is a little high. I think you got a great thing going on, but if we're going to be paying a 15% referral fee plus 250, you know, say minimum of 5 live transfers a month, I mean, that's already Zillow numbers right there.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, if I could really probably, I guess I feel like that with the referral and everything else, it might, you know, say 10 grand. I mean, that's what, $2 grand right there for the referral fee close to it. I mean, that's pretty high, man. You know, I think you got something going good, but I truthfully, man, I think it's probably going to be. I just don't know if it makes sense. You know, I can like the whole Google Lofty thing that I'm doing, right? You know, I pay for the ad spend and I pay a flat fee for the manager, but the only thing I don't have is an ISA. But I can get an ISA to you know call if I really wanted to for fairly cheap.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like you could do that, right? Then you're gonna have to train the ISAs. You're gonna have someone to manage the ISAs. You're gonna have to pay the ISAs. Whereas we've got it all set up for you, right? And so like you're already allocating like ad spend towards like the Google ads and the Facebook ads with Lofty. But like you could allocate that towards something like this, and then we've got the ISAs to pre-qualify them, handle them. I know you're spending a lot with Zillow right now, but they're not getting you results ultimately.
Not anymore. This is the last month.
Yeah, so like why not like reallocate some of that towards this, right? Now we're not like committing you to like a super long contract or anything, because like I said, like we're doing that trial offer.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean you can stay in that ultimately. But like if like so far, like does it seem like what we're doing is like better than Zillow and better than Lofty?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know much about Lofty right now. The only thing, I mean, I like what you guys got going on, and I like you have the ISA because that lets me free up a lot of time, right? You know, like you said, I got 3 kids, you know, wife, and you know, it's always to be better to have that warm call come in and then let me report from there.
For sure. Because the thing is, like leads alone, like they don't work ultimately. And like people will tell you they work, but like you'll get one lead, you'll call them, you'll get their name, their number, their email, and you'll never get in touch with them. And so that's going to happen, right? So if you're just doing that, like I said, like some of our guys, like our ISAs will call them 10, 20, 30 times before getting in contact with them. So if you've got to do that for 100 to 200 leads every single month, and it's all falling on you, then you're going to be spending a lot of time, 4 hours a day calling through them. And then on top of that, once those deals actually start closing and you actually have to show them properties, work in person with them, all of a sudden you're not going to have time to call them and do all that prospecting, do all that pre-qualification, and then you're not going to have deals lined up for the next day. And that's when things start slipping through the cracks because you don't have time to handle all of it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could just see it getting really pricey. You know, say you guys book me 10. I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword because I'd probably be closing more of those too. But I just 250 plus 15% is a lot of money. I mean, yeah, you said originally it was $5 grand up front and 5 to 9 grand. You know, I feel like 1 month it's gonna be pretty easy to pay out $1 grand. You know, so 5 months would be.
So usually we're doing around five transfers a month. But as opposed to dealing with like 5 leads a month, we're dealing with 5 clients because of all the qualifications we're doing.
Tell you what, man,
Okay.
I'll give you guys a shot, right? Like I like it. Like let's keep going. I'm gonna give it a shot. Like you said, I'm not gonna be doing the Zillow, and so you know,
Yeah. I mean, I think like I think like you understand that like investing in business is the right thing, but I want you to be investing in the thing that's going to get you the best results ultimately. Do you want to? So only in these 60 pieces of information, like they're built into the ISA job description, like I was saying. Now all those calls are also recorded too. So like if for some reason, like we ever send you someone who's like the information doesn't line up or anything, we can go back, we can listen to the call, see what happened, refund you the 250, right? So it's not that big of a deal ultimately. Now only after we connect them with you, then we'll have transfer with you. We'll go ahead and we'll send over the notes of the conversation that the ISAs had with them. But you can even go back and literally listen to the live recording inside your own CRM.
Okay.
You want to listen to what a call recording sounds like?
sure, why not?
Cool. Here, I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing my sound here.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Sammy, how's it going?
I'm good, is it?
Hey, yeah, this is Levi. I work over with Mackenzie, and you're texting back and forth, about the homes.
Yeah, Levi.
Yeah. So, if I have everything right, you were looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, with a 3-car garage and a fairly good neighborhood.
Yeah, preferably with a big garage. And I found out that you can put there a small pool. There are lots of houses with small pool in the back.
Okay, yeah. So potentially a small pool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know there's lots of great places. And you've already been pre-approved, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to stay probably like around the 400K price range.
Yes. Maybe for 50.
Okay. And you were preferably wanting to move like the end of January, maybe February, right?
1 moment, please. For the fridge. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that, Levi. There was a interruption. Okay.
No worries.
So yeah, that's the idea. Maybe moving first week of February or end of January. So I need to see some houses this weekend if possible.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely set something up. Is this going to be like your first time buying a house?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Because I also know there's some really good first-time homebuyer programs out there as well that Mackenzie is super familiar with. And so, I mean, you're not like working with an agent yet, or anything, are you?
Well, I'm being bombarded by calls from agents, but I haven't gotten out with them to look for houses.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
In Facebook, they say there's this posting about, oh, you can buy a house with 100 down. You can buy a house with 1,000 down. So I will click learn, and then when I click, it gives my name and a phone number, and then I get bombarded with phone calls.
Yeah. When you fill out your information, I bet you get calls from a bunch of people, right?
Yeah. So far I'm talking with you. I just go out for houses. The first time I'm talking to somebody to bring me to see some houses. So,
Okay.
So hopefully we can do if you're available. Hopefully we can do Sunday around 10 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. Well, let me. Well, actually, I know I mentioned it earlier. I work with Mackenzie,
Yeah.
and she's actually the agent in the field, and so I know she's super familiar with these types of houses. So I know you're busy. I know you're a teacher. You want to get back to your day. But let me quickly check and see if Mackenzie is available. I can introduce the two of you, and you can set up time for Sunday. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So obviously not every single call is going to be like that. Like the ISAs be getting cursed out on the phones, everything like that. But the goal is for like, we want them to be dealing with that and following up with those people to filter them down and find the people like this that are literally like, yeah, I want to go see houses this weekend. I'm pre-approved. You know what I mean?
For sure.
What
And
did
my
you-
thing is, man, is that when they cuss at me, dude, I got a bad mouth, and I'll snap back at them.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I don't take that shit, man.
Yeah.
And so they want to, it'll be more of a smart ass remark. You know what I mean? I'm not just gonna take it. I'm not gonna cuss at them or anything like that, but I definitely
Yeah.
snap back and make them know that how I feel.
Yeah. It can be hard not to, right? Like you're literally getting cursed out on the phones. Like you're not really doing anything wrong.
Yep.
It's hard to keep your cool
It's like,
in those situations.
you're mad at me, but
it's
you
like,
clicked learn more and you accepted the terms that I can call you, and now you're mad at me for calling you. I'm just trying to help you, and so
Yeah,
it's
clearly.
frustrating for sure.
Yeah. What did you think of that conversation though? Like the criteria he's grabbing and like I guess the depthness of it.
Yeah, man, it sounded good. I mean, he pretty much went through all the check marks. And so let me ask you, so when he three-way calls me, is he going to run down how that conversation went with that buyer before we merge the calls?
Yep. Yeah, he'll give you a call. He'll say that he's got a lead on the line, and he'll just quickly like give you a rundown of like the explanation or the whole conversation that they just had, like the answers to those 6 touch points, merge the phone call, and then like make an introduction between you and the lead.
Okay. So I like it, man. One more thing. So I mentioned earlier that I want to focus on new construction. Is that something you guys can tailor, or do you have your own ad sets that you're gonna do yourself, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to do what's going to work best in the market. Let me try to find an example. I think I've got like a new construction ad somewhere, but we can, we'll use a new construction campaign to bring in people that are more interested in new construction.
Yeah, that's where everybody's buying right now. I think D.R. Horton down the road sold 36 last weekend in one neighborhood. Not one weekend, last month, one neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. I can't find any examples. We've done it before though, right? And they tend to crush because they're a little bit more specific. But that's the benefit of doing online marketing because we're targeting specific people. Now, obviously, not every single one of those people are going to be like specifically what we're looking for. But then the fact that on top of it, we've got the ISAs to pre-qualify them, we can break it down really nicely, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The last part, I think is the most important part, is the team that's actually operating all of these systems and working everything for you. So you'll get a marketing specialist, multiple ISAs, and a CSM as well. The marketing specialist, they're running all the ads, the campaigns, making sure that we're, getting enough people in the door every single month, making sure that all the numbers look good. The ISAs, those are going to be your foot soldiers, right? So those are the guys with the boots on the ground, working all those leads, nurturing them, pre-qualifying them, having the conversations like the one that we just listened to. And then a CSM also. So this is going to be your main point of contact. So obviously we'll text it back and forth, like if ever you've got questions for anything or, we got questions for you, we'll hop on calls, answer your questions. But every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, we're going to have like a Zoom call like this actually set up where we can actually discuss like what you're doing on your end with the people we're sending you, what we're doing on our end. Do we need to raise the price point? Do we need to target a different area? What needs to happen. So we're not like some big corporation. We're just going to like set you up and then you go figure it out. You get what you get. Like it's a partnership ultimately. Like we're looking at your business specifically.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, we need to get feedback from you, get feedback from us, check in, make sure everything's running great. How can we make the systems better from there? Right.
Okay.
You feel like that'd be helpful?
Yeah, man, I like it. Again, and it's not to doubt you, man. It's just I've dealt with a lot of lead companies that promise all kinds of stuff and then, they underdeliver. Which is why I wanted to, our initial conversations, like, I'll pay you if it results, right? But this works out for me because if you're giving me a call, if I'm getting a live transfer, then I see the value in that, as opposed to, as opposed to just getting leads in your inbox and, whatever it may be.
And a live transfer is like, that's good too. Like that's the best way to get connected with them. But it's like having ISAs to pre-qualify them and do all that nurturing as well. That's what's really I feel like is going to be the biggest game changer for you because like, I don't want you to be spending 4 hours a day pre-qualifying leads.
Yeah.
Like
I don't either.
If that compounds onto each other and then you don't have time to work with your clients, stuff like that. So yeah, like I said, like normally the 2 packages we do is we do the lifetime, which is the 9,000, and then we do the referral, which is the 5,000. And then normally like I said, like we're doing the special for you, for the mid-spring special, for the Bryant birthday special.
It's May 19th, man. It's a couple weeks away, but it's getting there.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to send you a present.
There you go, man.
But yeah, so we do 15%. That's your referral fee. And then the $250 per transfer. What we are going to do though is we do prepay the first 3 transfers because this will cover like the overhead costs, like the initial setup costs. So we just prepay the first 3. So it'd be $750, but we're not going to do $750 and then $250 per transfer. It's just prepaying the first 3. So I'm not going to have to worry about it. But yeah, does that sound good?
Yeah, it's not a problem, man. You send me a link or
cool. Yeah, I'll have a form that we're going to go ahead and fill out. Okay. And then I'll just grab like your info to take care of the $750. But what's the best email or like associated with the card?
Yeah.
So let me see. Is it briansellsatx@gmail.com?
Yeah, bear with me, man. Find my wallet.
Okay, you're good. Cool. And then the card number.
5108